Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for today, me Nurhayati binti Madisa and my teammate Aida Nabiha binti Jamshari Suhaimi will present our research project entitled Factors that Contribute to Illegal Transport Fishing at Pulau RUSA, Kuala Terengganu.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurhayati. So first of all, I will explain about the research background of our research study. So, the illegal transborder fishing is one of the activities that widely spread within the countries, and Malaysia are not excluded. It was reported that Malaysia has lost about 6 billion ringgit every year due to this activity. This activity has caused and bring a threat to Malaysia in terms of the security and can bring rivalry to the fishermen. This research study was made to study the factors that contribute to the illegal transborder fishing activity at the Pulau RUSA, Terengganu. Now, let's take a look on the research question and the research objective that has been used in this research study. For the research question, there are 3 questions that has been chosen. For the first one is, what is the relationship between the law and regulation and the factors that contribute to the illegal transborder fishing? The second one is there any relationship between food supply and the factor that contribute to the illegal transborder fishing? And the third question, the last one, is what is the relationship between the fishery subsidies and the factor that contribute to illegal transborder fishing? Other than that, we also have 3 research objectives that have been used throughout this study. The first research objective is to determine the relationship between the law and regulation and the factor that contribute to the illegal transport fishing. Next, the second objective is to investigate the relationship between the food supply and the factors that contribute to the illegal transport fishing. The third one and the last objective that we use in our research study is to identify the relationship between the fishery subsidies and the factor that contribute to illegal transport fishing. It was reported since 2006, Malaysia has seized about 723 vessels and detained about 7,203 illegal fishermen from Vietnam fishing illegally in Malaysian water. For conceptual framework in this research study, 3 independent variables has been chosen. The first one is law and regulation, the second one is food supply, and the third one is fishery subsidies. Meanwhile, the dependent variable in this research study are the factors that contribute to illegal transborder fishing activity.
Here is our independent variables and hypothesis. For law and regulation, there is a significant relationship between law and regulation and illegal transborder fishing activity. Second one is food supply. There is a significant relationship between food supply and illegal transborder fishing activity. And the last one is fishery subsidies. There is a significant relationship between fishery subsidies and illegal transporter fishing activity.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aida Nabiha binti Jamshari Suhaimi and I will proceed with the research method for this study. For the research design, one predictive method has been chosen to achieve the objectives of this study. According to the Saunders et al. 2012, each researcher has a list of research questions that must be answered, and this can be achieved with the research design. The unit of analysis will be referred to the individual, which is the locals in the Kampung Pulau RUSA in Kuala Terengganu. Based on the data obtained from Unit Perancangan Ekonomi Negeri Terengganu in 2018, the total number of populations in Kuala Terengganu districts was 258,600. However, the data composed only limited on the district, which resulting to the data analysis had been done based on the data given. According to the Cressy and Morgan table, if the total number of population exceeds 75,000, the proposed sample size will be 384. The actual sample size for the study was 237 respondents, which is the locals in KUALA, Terengganu district. The sampling technique used for the study is the convenience sampling in the non-probability sampling. The convenience sampling was used due to the sample size that was convenient, accessibility and proximity to the researchers. Next, we will move to the data measurements. For independent variables, the questionnaire was developed based on the Crawford, Bonnet and Hagos 2014 criteria of the designs and methodology for the survey of Somalia fishing communities concerning IUU fishing. For the dependent variables, the illegal transborder fishing can be measured through the level of locals' awareness. Next, we will move to the data collections. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the questionnaire was constructed in the Google form, which it is easy and simple for the respondents to understand and use. There are 5 sections in the Google form, which is Section A, Demographic Profile, Section B, Illegal Transborder Fishing, Section C, Law and Regulation, Section D, Food Supply, and Section E, the fishery subsidies. For the data analysis, the data obtained will be analyzed through the SPSS software, where for the Section A, which is the demographic profile, it will be analyzed through the frequencies and percentage. As for the other sections, it will be analyzed through the Pearson correlation. Next, we will move with the findings. For the demographic profile, the majority for the gender is female, where the frequency is 139 with 57.7%. The majority for age is between 18 to 27 years old, where the frequency is 114 with 47.3%. As for the marital status, the majority is from the respondent who is single, where the frequency is 126 with 52.3%. The majority for the salary is those that had lower than 2,500 ringgit Malaysia, where the frequency is 115 with 47.7%. As for the occupations, the majority of the respondents are not working with 29.5% and the frequency is 71. Lastly, for the residential area, most of the respondents live in the semi-urban area with 36.3% and the frequency is 86. Next, we will move to the hypothesis testings. For the first objective, which is to determine the relationship between law and regulations and the factors that contribute to the illegal transborder fishing. The data analysis is done through the Pearson correlation. The result shown that the R value is 0.669 and the P value is 0.000. And from this, it can be indicated that there is a significant relationship between the IP and the DV due to the P value is less than 0.05. Therefore, for hypothesis HA, where there is a significant relationship between law and regulations and illegal transborder fishing are accepted, and rejected HO, where there is no significant relationship between law and regulations and illegal transborder fishing. The second objective is to identify the relationship between food supply and the factors that contribute to the illegal transborder fishing. And the data analysis is done through Pearson correlations. And the result shown for the R value is 0.429 and the P value is 0.000. As for the hypothesis HA, where there is a significant relationship between food supply and the illegal transborder fishing are accepted, and rejected HO, where there is no significant relationship between food supply and illegal transborder fishing. The third objective is to investigate the relationship between fishery subsidies and the factors that contribute to the illegal transborder fishing. The analysis is done through the Pearson correlations, and the result shown that the R value is 0.623 and the P value is 0.000, and this shown that there is a significant relationship between the IV and the DV. For the hypothesis HA, where there is a significant relationship between the fishery subsidies and the illegal transborder fishing, are accepted, and rejected HO, where there is no significant relationship between the fishery subsidies and the illegal transborder fishing. Next, we will continue with the limitation of this study. And the first limitation is the implementation of the Movement Control Order, or MCO, that was implemented on 16 March 2020. This implementation has hurt us from continue this study due to no face-to-face interaction are allowed, and most of the sector are closed during this period. Due to this, we solely depend on the internet, since the actual meeting with the locals in Kuala Terengganu cannot be conducted. Due to this, the data obtained is lacked from many aspects, such as not complete and less accurate. Moreover, it is hard to keep the coordination and communication in completing this study due to us living in a different state, and the movement across the state are not allowed. The second limitation is the difficulties in collecting the online survey. Since this study focused on the fishermen village in the rural area, some of them might not know how to use the Google form and have the facility to surf the internet or to use the Google form. Some of them might not have the smartphone to access this Google form, especially the elderly. As a result, not everyone can participate in this survey, especially the elder people.
So based on the research study, there are 3 recommendations listed in order to help to reduce the activity of illegal transborder fishing. Okay, the first recommendation is the cooperation from all parties in order to ensure the effectiveness of law and regulation. For example, the public or the fisherman itself can act as an eye in order to help the enforcement unit or authorities to monitor the activities in the area. The second recommendation is the regular inspection and control on food demand and supply. This is important to ensure that sea catches that sells in the market are not from prohibited lists, such as endangered species. Last recommendation is monitoring and supervising spending of fishery subsidies by beneficial. This can be done by replacing the distribution of fund by subsidy card. The replacing subsidy card will help the government in order to monitor and trace all the money spent by the fishermen. This is important in order to help to curb the misuse of funds. As a conclusion, the law and regulation, food supply and fishery subsidies are found positively significant with the factor that contribute to illegal transborder fishing. In addition, the law and regulation was found as dominant factor that contribute to illegal transborder fishing.